But flip to this week and live in studio with us. Well, I'll tell you what. First, I'm going to bring Sylvia Milligan back into the show, and you can help introduce your guest here. Your very secret guest this morning.
Yeah.
Delightful guest. We'll see what's happening.
Yeah.
So tell us about her.
Well, I met her in Mexico in this little island called Holbox. And I just saw her movie in the plaza.
You did?
And they were so nice. They were like keeping it low for the church, waiting for the church to finish. So we were waiting there, and I started to see the documentary about how she made the movie, which it was the most interesting thing.
Oh.
And she's Jennifer Sharp, so she can explain you.
Introduce her.
Una great movie.
No, what's her name?
Jennifer Sharp.
There we go. Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
So tell us a little bit about, she discovered you in the movie, about how you made the movie?
Yeah, so I did a screening of my movie in Mexico, in the small town in Mexico.
Tell us a little bit about what in general terms, what the movie's about.
So Una Great Movie is the movie that I made, and it's a beautiful story about a black woman traveling in Mexico that slowly turns into an all-white romantic comedy. It's a cerebral commentary on the movies that we see and why we see them, what Hollywood makes and what makes it to theaters.
Okay.
So it's a political commentary, but it's a satire, it's funny, and it's a lot about my journey.
And it's two movies. It's her story in the movie about how she made the movie, which it took her 20 years.
Yeah,
nobody wants to do it, and she finally decided to make it no matter what.
Yeah.
What were the roadblocks? Why did they want to make it?
So Hollywood is just, making a movie is hard. It's a hard business.
Of course.
Now that there's all this like diversity talk in Hollywood about like women and minorities not having opportunities, now that that's coming out more, I'm thinking maybe that had something to do with it. That wasn't really on my mind. It was just that I was working really hard for 20 years. I wanted to make this movie in Mexico. No one would make it. So 16 years later, I decided I was going to make it on my own. So this was in 2016. I took all my life savings and I called all my credit cards and asked them to raise the limits. And with all of that, I had $100,000 to make a movie.
Wow.
So I moved to Mexico with everything I had and said I won't come back till I make this movie.
Wait, why Mexico?
Because there's this town there that I found 20 years ago. It was a small fishing village, and the village took me in, and I lived there.
It's a beautiful island.
It's a beautiful island.
Holbox.
Yeah.
Holbox?
Isla Holbox. And it was a fishing village. Now it's a tourist place. But when I found it, it was all fishermen, and they welcomed me in, and I was this lone black woman, American, who didn't speak Spanish, traveling in Mexico, and they made me part of their family. And I was inspired as an artist, and I wanted to tell the story of these giving people and my transformation. So I promised that I would make a movie there one day. I promised. In the year 2000, I left, and I said, I will make a movie. And in the year 2016, I had not made that movie yet. So I realized I had to make it, and I call it my kamikaze mission. So I just went for it, and along the way, I filmed myself, and I put weekly updates online showing my journey, and that was my way to kind of get crowdfunding too.
So were you by yourself? Because most people don't make a movie by themselves.
No, completely alone.
No kidding.
Completely
Camera,
alone.
audio, everything.
Yeah, well, when I needed people, I hired them.
Got it.
But I was the lone drive, and I went and I prepped by myself. I went to the island, I found locations, I talked to the town. I used 50 locals as actors. And so it's this really interesting
everybody
story.
wants to help her. So the island is like they are the actors. The people give her the food. They give her the places, everything.
They gave me things for free.
So the technical aspects, you did that all by yourself, or you must have had some people. You hired some people to help.
When we shot, I hired a cinematographer and I hired a crew for like the 21-day shoot. From Mexico City, and they came in and they shot, and they were part of my team, and then they left, and I stayed for a month and wrapped the entire movie by myself in the town, which like cleaning up everything. I did all the editing, I did the visual effects, I did everything. I did the sound mixing.
It's a great movie.
Have you seen the movie?
Yeah. I saw the movie. I saw the movie in Mexico.
So
she was there introducing it and
Wow.
explaining how she did it.
Got
and in the town was there. And then we see the people and they were like, "Whoa," because they saw their stuff.
So wait a minute.
Yeah.
So you were just there.
I was in the premiere.
This was a coincidence that you were there. You weren't brought down by her?
No, it was my first time in the...
Wow.
Yeah.
You just sort of... As usual, Sylvia walks into something and brings it back to the radio station. It's amazing.
Like she's so she still pays for the movie.
Yeah.
And it's such a nice, it's so inspirational, so different, so connecting, loving, and it's everything. It's like, I was like, wow.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Can I just say that you are going to be the most popular woman on Oscar night? Because when you win, you won't have a 10-minute speech thanking him.
You don't have to thank anybody but yourself.
I thank myself.
I'm looking forward to it.
It's wild. Was the movie in English or Spanish?
It's mainly in English, but it's both. There are some scenes with locals that are in Spanish. Mm-hmm. And also, just to summarize the experience where Sylvia and I met each other, so this was like one of the hugest experiences of my life. It's something I've wanted to do 20 years. I did it myself, and I took the movie back to the island. I brought a screen, because there's no movies on the island. I brought a screen from Playa del Carmen. We had a green carpet that my friends all made out of grape leaves and palm leaves.
Oh, how fabulous.
Yeah, and it was and it was my life accumulation, honestly. And I wanted the town to like it, and I put on this big thing for the town in the town center. But it's such a small town. There was like the church mass going on till 8:30, and nobody shows up on time. It's Mexico. It's a small island.
Of course.
So I publicized that it was going to start at 8:15, knowing it would start at 9. But I was just like, you can't, no one gets there on time. The crazy thing is that actually everybody showed up on time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we couldn't start till church ended, and people never show up on time. 300 people showed up.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, so I put on my documentary, which is all my video episodes following me without sound, so people could just kind of watch the filming on the island. And so that's what they watched for like 40 minutes until I actually started the movie.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and they stayed and they watched it. So it was a huge, and she just happened to be there. And I wasn't sure how much people were really paying attention because it was the town center. Mm-hmm. But it's really an honestly great movie. It's the evolution of diversity. It's exactly what we need. It's the change we need in Hollywood. So I feel strongly about this, but it wasn't about the storyline that night. It was about just this party.
Right.
And then Sylvia comes up to me afterwards and she was like, your movie was so good. Like it was, and she was just really moved by the story and by how interesting it was and how different it was. And I was like, you mean you actually paid attention? I mean, there were people who were actually watching. And she was like, yes, and it was so good. And then we've been in touch since.
Well, that's terrific.
Wow, that's a fantastic story. So the movie's finished. You screen it in Mexico. What happens after that?
The worst part happens after that. The hardest part, which is distribution and trying to make my money back.
And how's that going?
So the great thing is I have wonderful news. The documentary, which documents my whole journey, which is actually really inspiring. I shot it myself. Like I went to Mexico City for the first time looking for crew.
Wow.
I have a town. I show all the locals. I'm asking them, will you be an actor? I have a rehearsal with an actor. I have me like having a meltdown and crying in LA because it's just horrible. And I'm doing the whole thing by myself, the whole movie. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, I'm making another movie documenting myself, which is actually just video clips to get money. So I put them all together into the documentary. That documentary is actually going to be airing on Netflix on December 19th.
Wow, oh, great.
Really fantastic.
Yeah.
And what's the name of that documentary?
So the documentary is The Chasing of a Great Movie.
Chasing of a Great Movie.
And you can watch a trailer of the documentary on the website unagreatmovie.com. You can watch a trailer of both movies so you can see them both.
You made a documentary about the movie you were making alone.
Yes.
Alone.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Who shot it?
I did.
Yeah.
But you
like,
were making the movie at the
I'm
time.
shooting this moment right now. My camera is under the microphone.
She's not
shooting
kidding.
myself.
She's right here.
Are you making a documentary about the movie?
Yes. That's the next one.
I am setting my DVR right now for next year's Oscar.
And December 19th, right?
Yeah, December 19th, Netflix. Yeah, watch the documentary. You'll start to feel the journey.
Well,
and the
I am
movies
watching that documentary on December 19th.
Me too.
December on Netflix.
I'm a documentary freak.
Yeah, it's
I love
awesome.
Do you look to also put it up in film festivals? There are a lot of film festivals that go on, like in Sedona. There's an annual one, and where all these different filmmakers.
I was expecting that she would put on a film festival herself. I'm teasing you because of course I'm teasing you because this is such a monumental achievement you've made. I've never met anybody who's done as much as you have in the film industry just by their own force of will, and I just admire that.
It actually scares me.
It's crazy.
I'm trying to suck up to her. Don't interfere with mine.
Yeah.
I just want to know what it's like to put yourself out there, in the midst of the frustration. What does that feel when you're looking and you see that back or you see at the premiere the way people react to you?
It's amazing, and it's amazing, and I've actually had to look at myself for the last 3 years because I'm constantly filming myself, and every week I'm editing a new video of myself, and so I've learned kind of, And it's funny, like, I don't care. Like, my mom actually said to me, she was like, she sent me a message and she was like, I know you're trying to fight the system and prove that, the way people live are all messed up. But could you just try to look a little better? Because you can be, she's like, you can be so beautiful and you look so ugly and like almost everything.
That's what I'm getting to.
I think your Oscar speech just got a little shorter.
But it's because I will wake up at 3 a.m. not being able to sleep, and I will turn on my camera and say, this sucks.
Oh, wow.
And I will be in the middle of crying to somebody and realize, shit, I should be recording this, and I'll just turn it on.
Oh, wow.
And so that I have a meltdown part where I'm just crying to my brother. And it's really hard. And I've had to change my relationship with money because I'm willing to go 100% in debt. Right now I'm about $100,000 in debt, which isn't much, really, considering the movie's done. But I'm still counting. I'm still counting because I'm still trying to, sell it. But I just took another $12,000. I got a new credit card that allowed me to transfer $12,000 cash at 0% for 15 months. So I just did that. That's how I'm living because I don't want to get distracted doing a job I don't want just to pay the bills.
I got it.
So I've changed my relationship with money. I've changed my relationship with life, with the meaning of life. And just like this is what it's like to do something you want to do, like all out, and regardless of society and regardless of how the world operates, which is not in your favor, just do it. It's really hard. I mean, I've had hard moments. I'm not thinking about politics today. I'm not thinking about anything. I'm relaxing.
See, there you go.
Yeah. I want to make a point here, but I'm writing this down. I'm changing my relationship with money. I'm going to use that later with Danny. Also, I want to point out, because we're at a student managed and a student run radio station here on a college campus at a journalism school, and we make this point often, but here is our guest making this point in real life so well. She hasn't used the words, but what she's talking about, everything except the movie that she wanted to make, all the documentary about it, and what she does when she wakes up in the middle of the night, that's social media. That's social media by another name. She's also conquered.
Yes.
You've also conquered social media, and you've learned how to use it to bend it to your own needs, and that's a lesson that our students can take as well.
Right. And given what you've accomplished so far, these next challenges, I bet you're going to do great.
I agree with you, Richard.
To what you have achieved on your own is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
I hope so.
You already met the angel of angels because Sylvia somehow is involved in all kinds of life-changing events for all kinds of people. You are.
I just like saw her. It's like it's amazing. Yeah. It's like it's so inspirational.
A conduit, because I know that by you bringing her to the radio station, by people hearing it, I just know there's somebody out there who's going to take your story, whether it's because they see your documentary or they know you or they know Sylvia.
Things come back.
It's one of those things that I feel it. I feel like the next step.
It's like I bring to the angel.
You do.
you
absolutely
you
do.
are the angel.
I just know that we're going to be talking a year from now, like the next Ava DuVernay.
Yeah, well, I think that's part of being brave enough to put yourself out there. Is you just never know. You never know. And so also, you can actually see, I have a YouTube channel, Una Great Movie, where you can see all my episodes, except for 20 of them that are in the documentary. I took those out, but there's 49 episodes of my journey. So those are watchable online right now.
What's your YouTube channel called?
Una Great Movie. So Una is in Spanish, U-N-A, and then Great Movie. And that's the name of the movie. And it's on my website, too.
Fantastic. I finished The Crown last night. I watched it over the weekend, so I'll get to that tonight. Wow. I'm serious. I would love to see your story and see what that all entails.
It's really awesome. And the thing is, too, is that I was like, I'm just going to do this. Hollywood has never wanted to show my stories, and so I was like, I'm just going to do it, and I can't worry about the outcome because I'm doing it myself. I just want to be an artist. I want to create, but I also know I'm good. I know I'm good. No one else seems to think I am. No one else wants to hire me in this industry, so I'm like, let me just do it myself.
Right.
In the end, I was prepared to not have a good movie. I was like, it's the process. It's what happens. Right. And angels come along the way. I've gotten investors that have come at me because of the journey. But in the end, this movie has actually turned out to be really amazing. I'm 100% behind this movie, and that's why I actually plan to release it in movie theaters in the spring, February, March, something like that, myself. Because that's just
hopefully you'll find distribution.
Hopefully
people that believe in you.
Yeah.
And there's something about a project taken on like that that's just, I gotta do this.
Yeah.
And now you're at the, I don't know if you're at the end, but you're past the hard part. The movie's made.
Yes.
Do you feel like it's spoken to the reason why you made it? Has it addressed that?
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
That's fantastic.
It's 100% truth. It's 100%. It actually has become my story. So it's actually the story of a screenwriter, a black woman in Hollywood who's trying to write this movie that she wants to write about a black woman traveling in Mexico. By the way, you've never seen a black woman traveling in Mexico in a movie ever.
Yeah.
So this is diversity. This is diversity, showing different things, not showing more black people in the hood, and not showing more of our same problems.
I know a guy who puts on a college journalism conference every so often at Cal State Long Beach, and I'm going to suggest to him right here on the air that about a year from now, we get you as a guest speaker at one of our seminars, because you're going to have an even greater story by then about how you got this movie distributed and you know what it felt like at the Oscars and you know all of that. And we should have you as guest speaker next year.
Movie here.
Absolutely, I think it would be fantastic to show your movie and have you speak to our students about that process.
Yeah, I would love to. I mean, I have a great story, and it's just. Like, and I know this is a great story, and I know like I took a lot of chances. So I love to talk about it. I love to inspire people, and you know, I think that we can all live outside of our reality a little more. I think we just get into this reality that's created for us. And,
absolutely.
You know,
How long is the movie?
it is 96 minutes with a really interesting 7-minute credit sequence at the end.
Okay.
So pretty average in terms of movies.
Yes.
About the.
Yeah, it's an average length movie. It's, an hour and a half, and I've already done the festival circuit, so I've gotten audience response, and I've gotten a lot of Sylvia's, like people who post 2 days after the screening saying how much they liked it. Sylvia, I remember what she posted 2 days later. She went on Facebook and she was like, "It's been years since I've seen a movie this good."
All right. So you have been. It has aired in various festivals around
I've done
the
festivals.
country. Okay.
Yeah,
great.
Well,
so,
what a story!
Yeah.
And I always know when she walks through the door, she's got a great story. I thought it was going to be her story today, but wow, what a great story!
And it's
to bring to
Mexicans,
us.
blacks, and whites.
Yeah.
Like the story encompasses. It's the most diverse movie and not just because it's a movie about immigrants, so we should all empathize.
No.
It's not that. It's not immigrants at all. It's Mexicans in Mexico that you don't really see being them, and it's a black woman traveling, and it's white people.
It's Una Great Movie.
It's
if you
Una
want to
Great
find
movie,
it, check
really.
it out. And indeed, it is Una Great Movie.
So my earlier question: have you considered film festivals? Already done.
Yep, already done.
check
I am at distribution, and exactly where I am is I am determined to get it in movie theaters. I have been told by every distributor that I have met with not to, that I have no celebrity. I have extensive use of a foreign language, which is 5 minutes, and that it will be really hard to get people to see this in movie theaters, and I should just put it on streaming and try to make my money back. I've been told that by the industry, but they have not seen the
Besides
reaction.
qualifying for Oscar, why do you want it in theaters as opposed to Netflix or someplace like that?
Because I believe in movie theaters. Number one, that's what inspired me. I love going into a dark room and
great.
escaping into
Yeah.
a movie. And I also believe that watching everything on Netflix is conducive to a more depressed society where we're not social, we're depressed. When I spend a weekend binge watching, I just get more and more depressed and lonely and fat. And I think we need to all be out and be more social. And I think people want to see movies. It's just that there aren't engaging movies in movie theaters to see. So people have gotten used to not going out. But if there is a good movie, and it's a group movie, it's a comedy too, so you'll laugh in the theater, people will want to see it, and it will be a great experience for human beings.
I thought you were going to say that because movies are a different medium than television, which is true. But all of the reasons you cited are valid as well.
I spent a lot of money to get a 5.1 surround sound mix. And if I don't show that in movie theaters, no one will ever hear my beautiful quality of sound.
Wow. We've got to make it happen. That's awesome.
Maybe your mom could go see it, and maybe she could, change her mind.
my mom has seen it in every 5 times.
But the big question is, does she speak Spanish after spending all that time in Mexico?
I do. I'm fluent. I am fluent, kind of.
She has a very cute accent.
Yeah, I spoke to the town. I spoke to the town in Spanish. I gave a couple speeches to the whole town in Spanish. So.
Hey, it's Mornings on the Beach. We want to thank you for coming by and talking with us about your movie. Una Great Movie.
Thank
December
you.
19th, Netflix. Look for it. She's right in the house right here. And hopefully we'll get you back here to show the movie.
I'd love to. Thank you. Thank you.
Really fantastic. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about that thing I mentioned earlier about whether men who eat vegetables or meat, who makes the better lovers. If you went, get your pen and pencil ready just in case. And an 82-year-old bodybuilding grandma beats up a 29-year-old burglar. We're going to have to talk about that story, that's for sure.
And from Iowa, a convicted killer with a life sentence has a very unusual appeal.
Okay, we'll get to that. And Charlie?
And who knew NASA was in the rock radio business? We'll tell you about that. And the newest trend in dining as well.
And don't forget the rocket in China. Don't eat the yellow villages.
We'll start with that coming up next, right here on Mornings on the Beach. Stay right there.
Interested in supporting the communities of Seal Beach, Los Alamitos, and Rossmore? Amateur Radio Emergency Service is looking for volunteers to work in emergency communications and message handling. Aries volunteers respond to blackouts, floods, weather disasters, fires, and other areas where people have to be mobilized or evacuated from. In addition, Aries also supports event communications for safety and coordination, such as parades and fairs. As a dedicated group of people from various backgrounds, Aries volunteers strive to help develop a safer community. If you are interested or would like more information, please visit arrl.org.
I'm Earl Beecher, and I'd like to invite you to join me every Monday morning from 10 until 12 noon for outstanding music. You know, they're kind enough, they let me play anything I want here, so just join in and listen to the variety on 22 West Radio.